Hello and welcome to GrossiMath.com, where math is for everyone. Today we'll be solving question 45 from the 2017 Algebra 1 STAAR using the TI-Nspire calculator. So let's get started. Okay, the question says a teacher graphed two equations. So the teacher graphs, and he uses this equation here and also this equation here on the same coordinate grid. Coordinate grid, guys, means graph paper, so don't be intimidated by that. Which statement describes how the graphs of W and G are related? So W refers to the first equation because that's the first letter is W, so that's what they're saying. How do the graphs of the first equation and the second equation, G is the second one, right? So how do these two graphs compare to each other? Okay, so basically this is a problem that has to do with what's called transformation. So we're going to take a look at, well, what happened to equation number 1 when it turned into equation number 2? Okay, so what we need to do in this problem is basically just graph this up in our calculator. There's a couple of important steps that need to be taken here in order for this to work right. So let me first show you the calculator screen. Now before I even turn the calculator screen on, I mean, I'm ready to do it now, but let's take a look at our answer choices. Okay. The graph of W is steeper. Okay. The graph of W is less steep. The graph of W is shifted. Shifted means moved 9 units down. So this one says down. And this one says the graph of W is shifted 9 units up. So this one says shifted up. Units, guys, are the little tick marks on a graph, the little boxes on a graph. Okay, so let me just go through the vocabulary here really fast with you. First of all, steeper and less steep. So let me take my example line here. So here's a line, okay? And basically steeper works like this. The line is now not very steep, and if it gets steeper, it's going to go like this. So it turned. You see? If it turns up, it's steeper. That's called steeper. If it turns down, that's less steep. Steeper, less steep. Okay. Now, if the graph moves up or down, the steepness, that's the angle, is not going to change. What is going to change is the graph can move up, so just straight moving up, or straight moving down. Straight moving up, or straight moving down. Just like that. So the angle won't change. If it's moving up, it moves up, down, down. Okay? So let's see what happens in our calculator. Okay. So inside the calculator, all we need to do is graph both of these. Okay. So I'm going to press Control N to start a new problem, and I'm going to go to the graph. Inside the graph, and let me turn on that zoom screen like I promised. I almost forgot about that. There we go. Inside the graph, you're just going to go to your window and you're going to make the equation look exactly like the one on your paper. Okay? So in front, the letter says F1 in the calculator. That needs to say W because that's our first graph. And basically, now the second graph is going to say X. I'm sorry, the first graph is going to finish by saying X plus 9. There we go, 9. Whoops, what happened there? Little typo there. There we go, there's 9. Okay, so Wx equals x plus 9, and that looks exactly like the first equation. So now you press enter, and of course it will graph it for you. So there we go. Okay, so the first graph is present. So let's move the paper so we can see it a little better because it's too far up in the corner. Just click anywhere on the page and you can turn it into a little hand that will move the paper for you. Okay, so there's my first graph. That's the graph of W. Well, let's take a look at the graph of G and see what happens. Okay, so we're going to press Tab. And once we've pressed Tab, we're going to go inside that box and we're going to go back and change F1 to the letter G. And now that we've done that, we can see that we need to put W parentheses X minus 9. Now the calculator will understand because you already graphed W parentheses X. That was your first graph. So the calculator will understand what you just typed if you're using the TI-Nspire. So press enter. And there you go. Look at that. okay, the graph of W transforms into the graph of G. So this is W up here, the top graph, and now it's going to become the graph of G. Now W was up there, and what happened? Did the angle change? No, the angle did not change. So that means that I know that the steeper and less steep are out. Okay, so I'm going to get my little pen here, and that means that this answer right here and this answer right here are out. Okay, now I also have, did the graph move up or did it move down? Don't get confused. Remember, W is at the top. That's the first one we graphed. And look what happened. It just dropped straight down from here, or from about there, to down here. Okay, so it dropped down. It says, did it move 9 units? Well, we could double check that. We could put the little hand on here and double check it if you're somebody who likes to check. And you'll see that there were 9 little lines that it dropped down through. In order to see those lines, you just put the little hand on top of the axis and it'll show them to you. Okay, so there we go. See, now I have the axis in my hand. And there you go. So that, you can see that it went down by about 9 little boxes. Okay, so there we go. So it did not move up, it of course moved down, and choice C is our correct answer. Okay, so there you go. That is how you do this problem. Today we learned how to graph a function on the TI-Nspire calculator by changing the letter F1 in the front and keeping the rest of the algebra intact. After that, we graphed the second equation and we compared them. We also reviewed the meaning of the word steep and less steep. Okay, so now you know what steepness means, and we also reviewed what does a unit mean. The unit is the little tick marks on the graph when it moves up or down or left or right sometimes. All right, so there we go. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you learned something today. Don't forget to like and subscribe and to click the bell icon and to visit the website where math is for everyone, www.grossimath.com.